Alright, next freelance space spending part number 2. So if you haven't watched part 1, make sure you watch the previous video. So I'm glad to hear most of you guys that the feedback I've gotten from that are really enjoying this and you're feeling a better rhythm. So I'm very excited to hear about that. And today we're going to move on to part 2. And we'll be adding on a very deadly off-ball cutting element from this. Because in part 1 I showed you pick and rolls and post-ups, but today we're going to add in some deadly off-ball cuts, alright? And before we do that, you got to understand one thing. What you see here is the original spacing of the next freelance, and this is the triangle I showed you guys on the right side or the left side, depending how you start the offense. But the issue with this triangle is that the spacing is very tight and it's not good for entry passes. So you can see here, this gets tipped. Now sometimes you can get it in there, but sometimes you can't, so that's not ideal. Now, but you must be like, well Sam, I thought we were talking about off-ball cutting today. Why are you showing me triangle spacing? But this is because you need a nice triangle because it is great for off-ball cuts. So what I'm going to show you right now to begin is how to space span the offense to form a better post-up triangle that you can, off-ball cut with. So what you want to do is you want to bring the ball to the middle. It doesn't matter who. Just bring the ball to the middle. Click L1 to open what I call the space span options and use the right stick to select post-up. If you do that, you're going to get two kind of triangles. You're either going to get this weak side triangle where the post option is isolated on the one side by himself with a stacked triangle on one side, as you can see here. Or you're going to get what I call a strong side triangle where the post-up option is going to be, at either block again, but there's going to be a wing nearby him on his strong side for an entry pass. Either way, whichever triangle version you get, it depends on the computer and what they give you. But the post-up for both is very easy entry pass. It says, what's this super easy entry pass from Rubio to Towns? It's much better spacing, it's easier to get the ball into it. And once the ball is in the post, you can begin what I want to show you, what I call today the space cutting. So I'm going to show you one time in real time what space cutting looks like and just how, good it is. You can see from here, I'm going to enter the ball into Anthony and Courtney Lee is just going to go. And this is a successful version of space cutting. A lot of details actually happen there, so I'm going to break it down for you in detail right now. Alright, so first things first, for those of you who saw that cut, you must realize, hey, that wasn't a flush cut because there's no symbol above the cutter's head. Well, that's correct. We're not going to be doing flush cutting. Alright, this is because the flush cut isn't strong or specific enough. Okay, I'll use footage to show you what I mean. So when I say strong, I mean this. This year 2K, the off-ball defender actually do a good job stopping the flush cut. As you can see, Melo stopped Wiggins fully here and the play is pretty much dead. Now obviously though, sometimes it works. Here the Melo cut is gonna work, but watch it in slow-mo here. The problem with the flush cut is you can't control the flush target well. Most of the time you're only gonna end up flushing the guy on the strong side, which is to the ball, so which is Melo this time. And another thing is you can see, because I have to hold down the flush button, Noah doesn't have a live dribble to work with. So this makes it more complicated to create, better passing and go for the cutter. So flush cut is not ideal and we won't be doing that. What we will be doing in my space spending next freelance offense is we're going to do what I call now space cutting. Now it requires 2 button clicks and a right stick flick to trigger space cutting. But all in all, it is faster, the movement is faster, and it allows you to choose whoever you want as a cutter. So let's see how to do it. So I'll show you in detail. So I've Gorgie Dang here is triggering the post up. Once Towns has the ball, so when I've entered the ball into the post, I'm going to tap L1. And when I tap L1 here, you see it triggers the space bending options. And above each player's head, you can see an icon. So Levine is a circle, Gorgie Dang is up top with triangle. Rubio, you can't see him, but because he's a point guard, so he's going to be X. And Wiggins is going to be square. And here I want Wiggins to cut in, so I'm going to click square and it is going to trigger this set of options right here. You can see up top it says play through Andrew Wiggins. This means I have selected Wiggins. And if I push the right stick to the left, it's going to get Wiggins to cut to the basket. And that's all it is. So it's L1, player icon, right stick always to the left, and whichever guy you selected, he's going to cut in. And family, we just watch how fast Wiggins cut in here, alright? Just appreciate the movement. Watch how fast Wiggins goes. That's a lot faster than a flush cut or a katana, alright? And that's deadly. So I'm going to show you all of the aspects of this. So we're going to form, so here we have formed a weak side triangle. So this is space cutting in a weak side triangle. I've brought the ball in the middle of rows. I've called post up. And you can see the weak side triangle being formed with Anthony because he's the primary post up option. I'm gonna get the ball to Anthony, and I'm gonna tap L1, select Porzingis, tell him to cut. Bang! A nice easy duck in with Porzingis at the low post area. That was crazy. Same thing. We're gonna get it to Melo, but this time we're gonna tap Porzingis to cut, but he was in a different position. He was in kind of the mid-range area. So we have selected Porzingis twice in different positions. That's why this is so good. So this time with the Timberwolves, they're gonna enter the ball in the Towns, in the weak side triangle. And we're gonna tell Wiggins to cut this time, who is up top. So we have selected 3 different positions to cut with here with the space cutting, because it allows us to choose whoever it wants, and it's deadly and it's fast. So now I'm gonna show you some strong side triangle space cutting examples. So here we got Rubio entering the ball to Towns, in the strong side triangle. We're gonna tell Levine to cut this time. So we're literally selecting whatever we want, and you can see I'm using the live dribble to get into the cutter's defender's way to open up the cut even more. This time we get the ball to Melo, tell Porzingis to cut. It didn't work. We try to post back down. They bring the double. If they bring the double off Noah, I'm gonna tell Noah to cut this time. Now that's nasty. A lot of button clicks got into that, but with practice you'll be able to do it really fast. So you see here, I get the ball to Porzingis in the strong side triangle, get it to Melo, and then have Melo see a Porzingis guy, tell Porzingis to cut. Oh my goodness, family. And yes, if one cut doesn't work, as you saw earlier, you can actually call another one. So I'm going to do back-to-back space cuts here. Just watch the movement of the Timberwolves. Don't watch the ball, watch all the players move. So the Rubio cut didn't work. I'm going to trigger a Wiggins cut. Man, nasty. And the best part of all of this, not only can you, back-to-back space cut, you can actually also select specific players to post with. You don't always have to, let the computer choose who the post person is going to be. So here I have tapped L1, selected Noah's icon, and tell Noah to post up with the right stick by pushing it to the right. Now I'm going to have Noah with the ball, tell Porzingis to space cut. Bang! This works better because Melo, is spacing out. This time I selected Noah to, post up again. And I'm going to tell Noah, once he has the ball, to tell Anthony to cut from the other side this time. And man, I'm literally telling whoever I want to cut. And for some of you already catching on, this will kill off-ball defense. User who like the off-ball, just make sure you're telling the guy who to cut in is the guy they're off-ball defending with, and it will kill him. And obviously, because the post entry pass is so easy and the post up spacing is so nice, you don't have to space cut. You can just catch the ball and post and attack right away. So in this instance, I have that strong side triangle triggered, and you see Noah in this kind of animation where he's sticking his hand out. Try to post entry pass the bottom into that hand, have him turn, and boy, watch him finish. That's a nice catch and go from the post up. And if you always turn baseline, you can also turn middle, catch, watch, turn middle, pump fake, CO, repost, finish. Nasty stuff. So adding this element, the space cutting element, to the next freelance space bending style I've been showing you guys. I know a lot of you already said you're in really good rhythm, but some of you were smart to ask. You're like, oh Sam, but we're attacking pick and rolls and post up, but we're not doing cutting. Well, I actually already had this design, but I'm glad you asked, because this is how you're gonna cut in this space bending next freelance offense. Same as last time, add this to your game. If you got any feedback, let me know right away. No more katanas, no more flush cuts, because with those, the issue is you can't really select who to cut, like with flush, and flush is slower. And katana is good, but sometimes it's bad too, because you can't select anybody else. It has to be the entry passer that katana cuts, right? And the problem is you don't have a live dribble, so because you can't control the ball handler in the katana cut, so you can't really get that good spacing. So get the space cutting into your system. Online, this is crazy. I've done this online against players who do off-ball defense, and boy, it killed them, because off-ball defenders usually fall asleep. They're looking at the ball. So when you tell their guy to cut, it's hilarious. They're just standing there like, oh, where did my man go? And just bang, dunk. So take this online, take this offline. Let me know how this space cutting works out for you. Any feedback would be great, just like last time. As much feedback as possible. You can write a paper. You guys know I read every single comment. I'm sorry I can't respond to all of them because they're just too many, but I do read all of them. So if you write it, you best believe I am going to read it. Alright, so add this into your next freelance space bending style. If you haven't watched the video before this, please do, because that was the base, and I'm gonna keep adding on to this, right? This is only gonna get more advanced, because later I'm gonna be adding in specific plays that works the best of this and all of that. Okay, so no more flush, no more katana, unless in money plays. But if you're in this next freelance, you're attacking in this space bending style, make sure you do what I showed you today. You want to space cut. Alright? Please give me some feedback. As always, thanks for coming by. Have a good weekend. Take this online, take this offline, do what you do. Let me know, and I'll see all of you next time.